about their relationship with music in Mississippi. The next inductee is up to Greg.
This would be in the category production of Mr. Benjamin Wright. Music director and arranger. He was born on July 11, 1946 in Greenville, Mississippi. Wright started his music career while in high school. Performing as a drum major in the marching band and singing doo-wop in a group that he and his friends started. Wright attended Chicago Conservatory of Music and received his PhD from the Pentecostal Bible College in Tuskegee, Alabama. After high school, Wright embarked on his first major musical tour and rhythm and blues icon Ted Taylor. During the tour, Wright played piano and sang backup for the band. The Ted Taylor tour allowed Wright to experience music arrangement for the first time, and his subsequent success within the industry took him on the road with James Brown, Otis Redding, Billy Stewart, Gladys Knight, and the Pips. Shortly after Wright's touring period, he was drafted in the United States Air Force. While there, Wright met with Fats Ford, a trumpet player who played with Duke Ellington. Ford eventually introduced Wright to, after Wright's honorable discharge from the military in Alabama, he worked for several years with Bobby Moore and the Rhythm Aces before working on the hotel circuit and jazz trios throughout the century. In 1969, Wright worked as a copyist for notable musical arrangers such as Charles Stephenson, Gene Bars, Donny Hathaway, and Richard Evans. And concurrently, Wright performed the Pieces of Peace, a group of musicians who recorded music sessions for Jackie Wilson, the Shy-Lights, Jerry Butler, Curtis Mayfield, and the Impressions. After traveling overseas with Pieces of Peace at the end of 1971, Wright enrolled in Chicago Conservatory of Music and shortly thereafter formed the Benjamin Wright Orchestra in 1975. Wright then moved to Los Angeles, California and became the musical director for the Temptations, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Aretha Franklin, Barry White, the Love Unlimited Orchestra. In 1979, Wright acted as a string arranger for Michael Jackson's first solo album, Off the Wall, where he met producer Quincy Jones. Before 1982 and 1983, Wright opened the Rittisonian recording studio, and in 1987 he went back on the road as a musical director for Gladys Knight and the Pips to do a one-year, one-night-only performances. In 2003, Wright, and longtime friend and former singer with the Temptations, Louis Price, formed the Price-Wright Orchestra. Then, in 2004, Wright wrote 5 new arrangements for singer Brandy and produced 3 songs with Otis Williams for the Temptations. Wright has also done arrangements for the Outkast and Justin Timberlake's Grammy-winning albums Speaker Box, Love Below, and Justified, respectively. And there is much, much more. And I'm going to let Mr. Benjamin Wright come forward and accept this award.
Woo!
I need to say one other thing about Benjamin. I've become more aware of his musical doings in the last couple of weeks, looking up his achievements. But there's one thing that people keep on saying about Benjamin Wright, and I think you ought to know. If you don't know, he's a great guy. He's a very nice man. We're just delighted to have him. You must have learned that from Mississippi.
What can I tell you?
Thank you so much. I am deeply honored. It's an understatement. But I need to say something. Listening to Dr. Brewer and him talking about so many musicians, and certainly it's hard to get everybody in, I guess, at the same time. In my situation, I'm generally the names, the little small name on the record, arranged by. We don't get much press. We do the work, but we don't get much press. A situation happened with me, with a young man here in Jackson, Mississippi, who heard something about me and decided to follow up on it because he was in disbelief. Upon him doing his own research, he made contact with me. He's working for a television station, came out to LA, came to my house, did an interview, shot some photos in the whole bit. And then some months later he says, all of this work that you've done, all of these major artists, you need to be in the Hall of Fame. Now, that didn't carry much weight with me at that particular time. No problem, no problem. I just keep writing. But this young man was very persistent, and the point I'm getting to, there got to be lots of us out there that we here at home don't know about, okay? So, if you will, allow me to call his name. Mr. McAfee, please. Now, I gotta say this, and please forgive me, I'm a bit long-winded. As an arranger, we don't get a chance to talk to people, we just put the notes on the paper. My high school band director is here, and please allow him to stand up. Mr. Roy P. Husband. And his wife. Mrs. Bennett. Thank you so much. Now, Mr. Bobby Rush is, everybody knows Mr. Rush, and he was telling the press a story this evening. Many years ago, when I was on the road with him, we were leaving Mississippi, going back to Chicago in the winter, 10 below zero. And Bobby always had very fashionable vehicles for us to ride in. But this particular one had no heat. At that particular time, I had a young son, I think about 18 months old, and I was bringing my son from Mississippi back to Chicago. I said, Bobby, I can't have my son die in this van. So, being a very creative person, we found a bucket, and I made a fire in that van. I hadn't learned about carbon monoxide and all of that other stuff at that time. But thank God it worked, because we're here tonight. I have another gentleman here, Mr. Alfonso. He's at the Mississippi Valley State, very important man. He's over the department. Everybody knows him. I didn't think too much of him. First time I came to have a big band rehearsal, he was beating me up about my charts, which were correct, thank you very much. But I got a call from him a few weeks ago. He says, Benjamin, I'm coming to LA. I'd like to come to LA for the NAMM convention. I'm sure all the musicians know what the NAMM is. So it was a chance for me to step up and be big. To get a pass to NAMM, it almost takes an act of Congress. So I had a few endorsements or whatever. I called one of my companies and said, no problem. So I spent this past week with Dr. Alfonso. Stand up, sir, please. And since we have a lot of witnesses here, all the endorsements that you got, I'm to share in it. Thank you. I have so many friends here, but please allow me to acknowledge my sister and her daughter who flew in for this wonderful occasion. My sister, Mrs. Davis, and her daughter. Can all my buddies just stand up for a second, please? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Once again, I am so honored, and I didn't have a job, so it was easy for me to come down here. And but my wonderful friend, Mike, where's Mike? Where's Kanye? Oh, he's hiding back there. He's really taller than that. Okay? Wonderful friend I met last year, had a chance to work with. Thank you very much, Mississippi.
Dr. Brewer, can I say something real quick? I want to say something real quick, but I don't take a second because I don't think it translated properly. He'll never say it. This guy has contributed to over 100 million albums sold, 30 plus platinum and gold certified albums, 6 Grammys. He has 2 custom microphones made for him. I mean, that is absolutely phenomenal. So I want to say that. Thank y'all so much. Thank you.
I'm not going to say this like it should be said, but you'll understand what I'm saying. Back in 2001, when we had our first induction, we were together. We're together tonight. I'm going to leave it like that. We are together. The next inductee, I want to speak a little bit personally on this because this individual has done more to uncover and to release into the public information about blues in Mississippi than any other person I know, including Alex, what's his name? Not Alex Thomas. The author.
Haley? Take your time,
I'll
Doctor.
think about it.
That's all right, Doctor.
I'm allowed some forgetfulness.